Patch 5.12 feels a lot like Christmas morning. And Riot feels like Santa. And these guys have put a lot under our tree. There's chamber nerfs, a huge meta change, and a new game mode. People have been begging for a new game mode, a shift away from the chamber meta, and Riot has finally delivered. Now, let's open these presents. Our first gift we want to call attention to is the new Ask a Pro feature in our Discord. It's free, and you can ask any of our coaches any questions you might have related to Valorant, and they'll answer. And yeah, that's it. If you've ever wanted immediate access to a Radiant player to ask them about the things you struggle with most, this is your chance. With how valuable this is, we can't guarantee this will always be free. So be sure to take advantage of it while it's here. Link for that in the description below. And with that being said, let's get into the agent changes for this patch. So what kind of agent changes do we have? Essentially what Riot has done is increase the cost of agent ultimates that are immediate site-wide effects. They want people to think more carefully about how they're using their ultimates and increase the counterplay against them at a strategic level. Riot also hit a lot of agents' ability economy. They want similar roles to have similar buys, pistol rounds to not feel clunky, and have abilities cost equal to the amount of power that their ability has. They've also tuned every health pool of each specific utility in the game, and they adjusted how much damage AoE abilities do to said enemy utility. So now things like Killjoy mollies won't get instantly vaporized on a molly, but can still be one shot. Not only that, but Chamber's entire kit got nerfed, and so did Raze and Fade's Boombot and Prowler. We're going to talk about each agent and each change so you don't miss a thing. As a matter of fact, let's start with Chamber, and there's a lot of changes. Alright, so here's the list. Bear with me. For his Headhunter, they updated the stability curve. The spread increases after the second bullet when spamming. This is explicitly meant to reduce low precision body shot spam as an effective combat measure at range. For his Rendezvous, Chamber now places a single anchor that can be teleported to while it's in range. Its radius is increased from 7.5 to 13 meters. They removed the teleport activation height restriction. You can now teleport to the anchor while on different verticality, so as long you're within its radius. They increased his weapon equip time after teleporting from 0.4 seconds to 0.7 seconds. His Headhunter is unaffected by that change, and destroying his Rendezvous teleport anchor now disables it for the remainder of the round instead of being placed on a cooldown. Chamber also no longer incurs an additional cooldown when recalling his anchor after teleporting, and the teleport's health got decreased from 80 to 50. The trap is now range restricted. The trademark will now disable when Chamber moves out of range and reactivate once he's inside. It can also now be recalled mid-round without line of sight, and there's a 30-second cooldown on this recall. The destruction remains permanent, and its initial arm time was increased from 2 seconds to 4 seconds, and its health got increased from 1 to 20. And for his Tour de Force, his ultimate ability, its fire rate got decreased by 57.5%. And his slows got nerfed too, and this applies to both his trademark and ultimate. Its duration got reduced from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. Whew, oh boy, that was a long list. To sum it all up, they basically made everything else about Chamber's kit feel horrible while leaving his core the same. I still think he's going to be pretty good though, maybe not as strong, but an instant teleport in any tactical shooter is going to be strong. Now let's move to the other patch notes. Quickly, let's talk about the utility health buff. Cypher's Trapwires, KO's 0 point, Killjoy's Nano Swarm, Raze's Blast Pack, Sova's Recon Bolt all got buffed from 1 HP to 20 HP. This is again so they don't get instantly destroyed by other AoE abilities, but they're still one shot. And now it's time to look at all the ultimate changes. Breaches, KO's, and Viper's ultimate all went from costing 7 points to 8. And Viper's ultimate got a direct nerf, aiming to try and keep her inside it and make retaking against it easier. The amount of time her ultimate takes to regen went from 5 seconds all the way up to 25 seconds. And the max amount of time she can be out of her ult went down from 15 seconds to 8 seconds. And speaking of ults, Killjoy's ultimate got a huge buff in that her lockdown now has 200 HP. And since Riot has adjusted how much damage that abilities do to utility, Sova's Shocks and Breach's Aftershock no longer break it. This is nuts, and with Chamber's nerfs, Killjoy should be back on the menu. Now let's talk about the nerfs that Fade's Prowlers and Raze's Boombot got. They both now only have 60 HP. You can now literally hit these things with a right-click classic and they're dead. Riot felt like it took too many bullets to break them, and they want these abilities to be more for information, rather than fighting. Omen, Phoenix, Skye, and Yoru all received changes to their ability economy. The cost of Omen's Paranoia went from 300 credits down to 250. This makes his pistol buy make more sense with half armor, a Paranoia, 2 smokes, and still his classic. Phoenix's Blaze went down from 200 credits to 150. This ability always felt kinda weak, but with a cheaper price point, it definitely feels stronger now. And Skye's Trailblazer went from 250 credits up to 300, but her heal went from 200 credits down to 150. They want to put her Trailblazer closer to the price point of Sova's Drone, but at the same time not completely nerf her economy. And lastly with Yoru, his Gate Crash's health went from 100 to 60 to make it less awkward to break, but its cost got reduced by 50 credits to 150. Next, let's talk about Sage. Her Wall's Fortify got nerfed by 0.3 seconds, meaning it could be destroyed much quicker. Now Sage players have to think more carefully about where and when they're placing their wall. And they also changed her heal. She can only self-heal herself for 30 HP versus the 60 she used to have, but she can now heal her teammates for a total of 100 HP. They said they want to focus Sage's strengths to be more about strengthening areas she controls, supporting her allies, and less more about aggressive, selfish plays. And for our last agent changes, let's talk about Harbor. They buffed the duration of his High Tide from 12 seconds to 15 seconds, and the duration of his Cascade from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. With these changes, Riot hopes his smoke duration is more on par with Viper's. Then there's a bunch of small changes like Brimstone, Killjoy, Phoenix, and Viper mollies now break utility, and Riot also changed the damage multiplier that abilities do to utility, like I mentioned before. They really changed how abilities really affect each other, and there's a lot of small changes that might be good to know, so these should be scrolling across your screen right now. Also, keep in mind, allies can no longer break your utility, and that's pretty awesome. Now for our last agent change, this one is great for you support players. Riot has changed the amount of time where you'll be rewarded an assist for debuffing an enemy. So if you concuss, near sight, or detain somebody, the assist trail has been increased from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. If an enemy exits a smoke, the assist time has been increased from 1 second to 2. If you slow somebody, that's been increased from 1 second to 2 as well. And if you suppress somebody, they added a new 3-second assist tail. Alright, that's enough about agents. Let's talk more about this brand new game mode that Riot just put in. But what is it? It's called Swift Play. What Swift Play is that it's a condensed version of Unrated. This game mode is first to 5 with 4 round halves, and everything else is amped up compared to your normal game. You get a guaranteed 2,400 credits at the start of each round, you start with 2 ultimate points at the start of each half, and these games take only about 15 minutes according to Riot. This new game mode is great, because if you want to play a game of Valorant, you have to dedicate around 45 minutes of your day. And the typical game mode is first to 13. If you want to play a quicker game, you could play something like Spike Rush, Replication, or Escalation. The issue with these modes is that they're not really competitive, or they're just kind of there for the memes. But with Swift Play, you now have a balance between a quick game while still being competitive. Plus, this also offers a great way for you guys to get comfortable with agents you're trying to pick up. Alright, and that's the patch. And I'll be honest, this has to be the longest patch we've had in a long time, and I love it. Every change feels well thought out, and this should make for a more diverse meta. At first glance, it really seems like Chamber isn't a must pick. Harbor might be good, and team comps are going to be way more diverse. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below. It really does help us out. But before you go, keep in mind that if you want to stay up to date on whatever meta throws at us, you should check out our website. Also, if you want a chance at having your VOD reviewed, be sure to subscribe to our website at SkillCapped.com. We also have tons of Radiant Smurf commentaries where we have Radiant players walking through exactly how to have the most impact possible in a bunch of different situations. So what are you waiting for? You got nothing to lose. Head on over to SkillCapped.com and get started on your way to that rank that you deserve. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm Teets, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.